Okay, now that you've practiced the 2-point perspective boxes, we're going to create a room in 2-point perspective like you see in the examples that I put on Google Classroom. So in order to do that, what I want you to do is take your paper and put a vanishing point. I'm going to label vanishing point 1, vanishing point 2, and connect those with a straight line. And we're doing this in pencil, so make sure you have a pencil. So I'm going to just do a light horizon line right there. The next step is we're going to create the corner of our room. So we're going to make a room that is kind of floating. It's going to be very surreal. So what I want you to do is draw a line, start a couple inches below the top of the paper, and just create a vertical line. And then I want you to go about 1 inch below the horizon line. So I've got a couple inches above and 1 inch below. That's going to be the corner of our floating room. And now we need to establish the walls of our room. So to do that, what I want you to do is take a ruler or a folded piece of paper. I just used the piece of paper that I gave you. And place it on vanishing point number 2 and the top of this line, and draw your line away towards the left. If it were to connect, it would go all the way to vanishing point number 2. On the other side, we're going to go to vanishing point number 1. Same thing, line it up with the vanishing point in the top of your corner of your room, and draw an orthogonal that goes away from the line. So these are going to be the top of the room. The room is not going to have a ceiling. It's just kind of floating in space, so you can add some surreal elements. We need to add the floor before we can establish how big you want your walls to go. So on the bottom of the line, I want you to line it up with vanishing point number 1 and draw an orthogonal away, and then do the same thing with vanishing point number 2. So you're lining up the original line that you drew, the bottom of it, with vanishing point number 2, and you're just drawing your orthogonal line away from there. Now I've got these orthogonals on either side. So now I can decide how far into space I want my walls to go. I want to create a parallel line to the edge of my paper. So I might not have made this orthogonal up top go the distance that I want it to. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a parallel line. And I'm going to extend this orthogonal up here so that it'll touch. So now I have a wall established on the left. I'm going to do the same thing over here on the right. Just going to create a parallel line to the edge of my paper, and I'll extend this orthogonal. So what you're going to notice in this drawing is that every diagonal line that I draw is going to go to one of those vanishing points. The only straight lines will be these parallel lines that I implement. So the bottom of the room, the floor of the room, these are the two sides. And if you want, you can go ahead and erase, if you have an eraser. Hopefully you do, somewhere in your house. Erase that horizon line. So we're going to put the floor on your room, and I want you to line up the right-hand side, bottom of the wall, with vanishing point number 1. And this is going to look a little weird because the floor is probably going to go off the page. So I just extended that orthogonal off the page. And then you're going to do the other side of the room. You're going to line it up with vanishing point number 2. Take it on off the page as well. And the examples on Google Classroom, you'll probably notice that the edge of, or the bottom of the floor fit on the page, but that's okay that yours is going off the page. So just keep that in mind. It might look a little weird to you, but it's not. It's correct. Tune in to the next video for next steps.